on your side. At Westland and Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Good morning, Calumet Region. I am Brian Lowry, the Vice President of Calumet College of St. Joseph, and this is the Calumet College of St. Joseph Show. Today with me are Ron Tabachinsky and John Morovich from the Whiting-Robertsdale Historical Society, and we're going to get a chance to learn about the many exciting things they have going on. But it is an exciting time at the college. Students returned earlier this week and brought some life back to the campus, which is always a wonderful and energetic time of the year. This is also the start of our 75th year at Calumet College of St. Joseph, and we will be doing a lot to celebrate that in the upcoming year. It's going to be a year of transformation and change at the college. We have the 7th floor that's been under construction for the past year and a half or so. That will be completed. As the gents with me here today know, we'll be building a 2-acre public park, and sports practice facility. That will break ground as soon as the weather allows us and should be complete by the end of the year. We're going to be going through a transition in leadership at the college. Our president of 7-8 years, Amy McCormick, will be retiring at the end of the academic year, and we're currently in the search for a new president. So the application deadline is drawn near, so if you guys are going to throw your hat in the ring, now's the time to do it. And it's going to be an exciting year with a lot of change and a lot of new things coming online. But it's also a chance to reflect and to look back at the past 75 years. And I couldn't think of two better people to help us remember than these two gentlemen who have been such a part of the area for so long, and our historians, both of you. And so welcome, guys.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
John, do you want to introduce yourself and your role with the Historical Society?
My name's John Morovich, and I've been with the Historical Society for a number of years now, maybe over 10 years, and been involved in a number of projects, everything that we've done, all the growth that we've seen in the past decade plus. I've been there to witness it all and to be a part of it. And I'm the president right now of the Historical Society. And I do a lot of research, write articles for our website. If anybody hasn't had a chance to look at our website, they ought to. It's WR Historical Society. And we have articles on there about every aspect of Whiting-Robertsdale history and history of the region, really. So it's a great resource if you're interested in history. Over 100 articles, over 200 articles actually, on everything you could think of about local history.
That is wonderful, and it really is. Those are some great reads. It's a rabbit hole you can fall into for days at a time. And let's come back and talk about the growth in just a second. Ron, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Brian. Ron Tabachinsky. I'm currently the executive director at the Whiting-Robertsdale Historical Society. Very proud to say the first executive director that they've had, and I think that's testament to how much the organization has grown since its inception. By the way, you mentioned that the college is enjoying entering its 75th anniversary year. We are entering our 50th anniversary year. So when you start to see the Whiting-Robertsdale Historical Society logo, you'll see that it's commemorating 50 years. But in those 50 years, it's really grown. It's always had a very dedicated base of dedicated volunteers. We recently opened a new history center, a museum at 1606 119th Street, and kind of with the additional things that we're taking on, I believe our board decided, hey, we kind of need somebody that's going to be around to look after this stuff and take care of some of the responsibilities that maybe get beyond what volunteers do. And after being on the board, they asked me to be the executive director, and it's working out very well. So as John said, we have a wonderful website, but don't overlook either the actual museum that we have at 1606, and we hope everybody can get out there and visit us very soon.
It really is an amazing space, and that's part of the growth that you were mentioning. Can you guys talk a little bit about that museum, what brought it about, what's in there today, and where it's going? And I want to plug the fact that I was very proud that you were able to host one of our interns to help bring that online last year. That was a great benefit to that student, and I know he really appreciates it. We really appreciate that opportunity for learning outside of the classroom. But tell us a little bit about the museum.
Yes. So the museum's at 1606, and it is a new location for the Historical Society. We were previously at 1610, 119th Street, which was a small building, and it afforded the Society area up kind of in the front to more or less put in exhibits and displays. The Society would change those out over time, but really it was bulging at the seams as far as trying to house our collection, put things on exhibit, and then handle also a lot of the kind of back office work that happens with putting items that come into our collection through an accession process and getting them entered into a database. So we were fortunate that the City of Whiting provided a building at 1606, assisted greatly with the renovation, and gave us a lot, probably about 1,500 square feet to work with. The front end of the building currently houses our exhibits. We have a space in there also where we will swap exhibits in and out. We have temporary things that we get on loan from other museums, but in our permanent collection, we have a very large representation of 1896 Whiting in the form of an N-gauge model railroad, which is still a work in progress. And every time I go in there, Dave Stryker, who from Whiting, who's been working on that for us, has added something. So it's kind of let's see what Dave has added. But, it really is something to see. We also have a permanent or a very large representation of the Phil Schmidt restaurant that was put together, and
we were very happy at the college to be able to contribute to that.
And we appreciate the colleges providing us with some of the artifacts and articles and pictures that became part of that exhibit. You'll also see a section on notable Whiting personalities, kind of the Whiting Wall of Fame, or the Whiting-Robertsdale Wall of Fame, with both some of the founders of the town and some of the notable personalities, including a Nobel Prize winner, a musician, sports stars. John has curated a wonderful exhibit on the refinery throughout its history. Also, just some of the other industry that's in the area can be seen there. Another wonderful part, and we were able to kind of make it multimedia with some video screens, but Whiting Robertsdale landmarks, past and present. So if you remember some buildings or some businesses from the area that may or may not be there anymore, you can come in and see a little bit more information about those.
I can personally attest that it is an incredible experience. You pack a lot into a small space. You tell many stories that are engaging and entertaining and really have region-wide, worldwide impact.
It's really been a museum that's been 50 years in the making.
Okay.
Because we've collected things. The Historical Society was founded, as Ron said, in 1976. And it was actually a bicentennial project. Those of you who aren't old enough to remember, the bicentennial was the 200th anniversary of the United States. And nationwide, cities and communities and organizations had projects that they developed during that bicentennial year, projects that they hoped would last for generations to come. And the Whiting-Robertsdale Chamber of Commerce came up with the idea of, let's create a historical society for Whiting and Robertsdale. And they did so 50 years ago, and we're still here. The people who came before us, the people who worked in our organization before us, did a wonderful job of collecting things. We have far more items in storage than we have on display, which is a good thing, because that means we could change our exhibits and bring new things on board. and make the museum changing all the time. So if you come in once, that's not good enough. You need to come back because you're going to see something different.
And, you know, I'm really excited. Ron and I have talked about the possibility of expanding that footprint a little bit with some exhibits. One of the projects that Calumet College is working on right now is through the Lilly funding. So there are 3 spaces inside the building that will tell the story of the people, the place, and the work of the region. The work story will be told on our 7th floor when that gets completed, because it has such amazing views, not only of the community and the lake and the skyline of Chicago, but all of the region industry. It's a 7-story building, so you can see for miles and miles. One of the other areas is room 200, which is often been used for community meetings. If anybody's ever been to a community meeting at the school, that's more than likely where they went. That room is also getting a major overhaul, and we'll have some display space. And we hope to be able to partner with you and some other regional historical societies to help tell those stories. You certainly did a wonderful job telling the story of the refinery explosion in 1955. And for those of you who don't know, John also wrote a book about that experience, which is a great read, and I assume can be purchased online?
Absolutely.
All right. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. And so as those collections expand and the stories grow, Ron, what kinds of stories would you imagine being told, either, you know, in terms of upcoming exhibits at the museum or in the college space?
You know, we're making definitely a concerted effort, I think, at the museum to tie in our revolving or temporary exhibits with some broader themes or activities that are going on in the community. And as a local historical society, what we really want to do is kind of tell that local angle. So some of the things we have coming up are we're looking at kind of like the Women's Month, and we're talking about taking some of our collection and maybe recreating a window that you would have seen in the past that is kind of looking more like an older department store or something, and tying that in with kind of the themes of the month, which I believe it's in March when kind of observations go to like women's suffrage, women's thing. And then we want to add the Whiting angle to that. And as we tell the story, especially kind of as we get into, you know, the 250th anniversary of the country, we want to, as much as we can, make that relatable at the local level. But we have kind of those consistent themes that you just mentioned, that the college is looking at, the work, the people, you know, and the places, and those are the same things that we are doing. We're very excited about working with the college on those and bringing some of the collection that John referred to kind of out of storage and getting it to where people can see it. But it really comes down to kind of telling the local story.
And Whiting, you speak about Women's History Month. Whiting, notable for having the first female mayor in the state, the country,
who is featured on our Wall of Fame.
Right,
Mary
okay.
Bursick.
The first elected female mayor in the state of Indiana.
In the state, okay.
Yeah. Mary Bursick.
Mary Bursick, for whom the pavilion in Whiting Park is named, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Well, the whole Bursick family. I mean, her husband was mayor. That's how she got into office initially, was by him passing away. And then she won a term on her own after that. And then their son later became mayor of Whiting.
Sure. That is wonderful. What are some of the stories you're looking at? What kind of stories are you envisioning, John, for down the road?
I don't know where to start, really. I mean, there's all kinds of stories to tell. One story just pops into mind because I got stuck by a train on the way here was about the railroads, the big significant part that they've played in the history of Whiting. Without the railroads, there would be no Whiting, because they were our first transportation mode in 1852. the railroads came through Whiting for the first time on their way to Chicago to create the very first link in railroads between Chicago and the East Coast. Before then, you couldn't get there from the East Coast. 1852, it became possible, and the last link really was through Whiting Robertsdale.
And Whiting obviously was a train conductor, right? Pop Whiting was a train conductor, so we are named after the trains in many ways. That is wonderful. When I think about some of the work you guys have done, you both have connections to the college. Ron is a proud alum. John, you've certainly did a wonderful job talking about Standard Oil and the history there. How is the college connected to, from your perspective, what relationship do the college and the refinery have? We're housed in one of their buildings, but I wasn't around to experience any of that. You saw some of that transformation.
Yeah, I was. I remember the building where the college is, being a part of Standard Oil. My dad worked at that facility. And so we would drive through the security gates, which were on both sides of the entrance from Calumet and the entrance from New York Avenue. There were security guards there, and we would drive through with my mother to pick up my dad from work, because back in those days, families just had one car. And I'm talking the late 50s and early 60s when I was growing up. But from a personal standpoint, also as a kid, I remember that building because that's where we used to have our Christmas parties. The Standard Oil Christmas parties for the kids used to be held there. And we all used to get a gift. I used to get some things that I never touched because they were too brainy. You had to think about them, as opposed to trucks, which you could just kneel on the floor and play with. But you got gifts all the time. And it was a neat place to go into, because it was such a different building for Whiting and Robertsdale. And it's different nowadays because it's still the tallest building in our community,
Sure,
along with the steeple of St. John Church. But it's also an important part of our community now, because it's providing the higher education is the one thing that makes it unique in Whiting and Robertsdale, because we don't have anything like it, and it's an important part of who we are right now.
Yeah, we really are proud. Dr. McCormick, I mentioned, is retiring. The college has had a legacy of always being engaged in the community from when it was in East Chicago, in storefronts in East Chicago, moved to the Schmidt building, as it's referred to, in 73, renovated all of that. And there's always been that community connection, but Dr. McCormick has really emphasized the importance of blurring the lines between college and community. And Lilly recognized that in their gift to us of $15 million to further strengthen those ties.
And kudos to her and to everyone involved in that, because it's so important, I think, for organizations within a community to kind of lean on each other. Yeah. To do things to help one another. And the college has been a big help to us in recent times because of that commitment. And we're extremely appreciative of it.
And that goes the other way. The opportunity for our students to gain work experience through internships, or the educational experience of merely visiting the museum or attending the lectures. The Historical Society now has their meetings at the school, and I know for the serial killer one in October or September, I saw some of my students sitting in the back row. They were intrigued, and so that kind of relationship really benefits everyone at the end of the day, which I think is why it's been such an important part of our success as an institution.
And we had a group of students come through earlier at the beginning of the school year from Calumet College to our museum, which was a great way to introduce them to this community, because a number of your students are not from Whiting Robertsdale. But the fact that they got an introduction to it through our museum is fantastic, I think.
Wonderful.
That working on the partnership with the college has really been one of the favorite parts of what I'm doing right now. Is, as you mentioned, I'm an alumnus from the college, 86 with an associate and 88 with a bachelor's degree, and you've been kind enough to give me a tour of kind of the renovated college, and I have to say I'm a bit jealous from when I was a student there.
I was jealous when he was talking about presents at the Christmas party.
to see how far it's come, but no, seriously, it really is remarkable to see how far the college has come. And to your point about it really is kind of a connection with the community. One of the things that I noticed, and then they pointed out to me during the tour, was a very large photo of two people, and it was Chuck and Gail Casalco, who are instrumental in the Whiting-Robertsdale Historical Society, and to see that their roots go back, that far, and are still being honored, I think, and observed at the college. To see that photo was really great.
Yeah, you couldn't find two stronger pillars of our community than the two of them. And when we put that up, and I invited them over to see their photo, and got to see the gleams in their eyes as they talked about sharing their first kiss on a stage, at the campus during a theater production, and how that relationship has transformed their lives and the lives of all of us. That was a lot of fun. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Just Chuck and Gail have been so dedicated to the Historical Society. We're currently kind of working. I know Gail's been a bit under the weather, but we're working right now on something that she started along with Marty Dybel, and that's our annual Groundhog Gala, which is coming up on January 31st, and in the typical kind of Whiting-Robertsdale, make everything sort of fun and a little quirky. We've built a gala around a groundhog. So.
Well, that's an important event coming up. What else do you guys have coming up? When's the next meeting?
This coming Thursday. I'm sorry,
no, go ahead.
This coming Thursday at Calumet College. And we are featuring a speaker from the Indiana DNR who's going to be talking about archaeology in your own backyard, or archaeology in your community. And that should be fairly interesting. And we have kind of a list on our website of all the upcoming meetings, but this is what we've rebranded now as the History Lovers meetings as opposed to member meetings. Everybody is invited, so I would encourage them to come out. There's no admission charge. Just come out, hear the speakers, and hear a little bit about what's going on with the Historical Society and at the museum.
Okay.
Yep, just show up at Calumet College at noon.
Noon on Thursday. Yeah. It'll be in the Bernard Art Gallery. And then the Groundhog Gala tickets are available?
Tickets are available online at the website that John mentioned, wrhistoricalsociety.com. The event is at the Whiting Knights of Columbus, so keep it all right in the community. They're going fast, so if you're interested in attending, I would encourage people to log on and grab their tickets while they're still available.
Wonderful. The college also has some events coming up. The men's and women's bowling teams are in full swing. They're both doing great. The men's and women's basketball teams are also in the midst of their seasons. The guys' basketball team won a real great game a couple nights ago, a double overtime against the number one seed in the conference, so that was exciting. You can go on our website, ccsj.edu, to get the schedules for all of those. We also have ELL classes for English language learners that are held every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night from 6 to 8. Those are free to anyone who would like to learn and brush up on their English. We have a paint party coming up on February 4th. Again, you can reach out to the college and ask for Monica to get details on that. And then our Black History Month art exhibition is in the Bernard Gallery. The opening reception for that will be next Friday, the 23rd, from 6 to 8. All are welcome. Those exhibits do a great job of bringing together regional artists to celebrate a theme. That room is dedicated to the place of the region, and so we interpret that lots of different ways to host these different art exhibits, and they're always really wonderful. Gents, any last words before we turn it over to the veterans?
No, not really. I mean, other than that, as Ron said, people are welcome to all of our meetings. We hope they do come. Welcome to our museum. We're open on Wednesdays. Okay, 4 to 7, correct?
4 to 7 on Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays.
Excellent. Well, we hope to see all of you at one of these many events coming up. And gentlemen, I thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
High school basketball postseason is here, with the girls starting February 3rd and boys March 3rd. Be on every game for as low as $1,500. Sponsor local. Reach millions. Visit Heartland Sports